Okay. Were you born in Santa Paula?
No, I was born in Laverne, California.
Laverne? Okay.
Yes.
What were your parents' names?
Pardon?
Your parents' names. What were your parents' names?
My name, my father's name was Felipe Philip.
Okay.
And Jerry Geronimo, which is a little...
How do you spell your mom's name?
Mother's name?
Yeah.
Just like Geronimo with an A.
Okay.
Yeah, Geronimo.
So with the J, it starts with a J. Okay. Okay. And how many brothers and sisters did you have altogether?
Brothers, real brothers, I had two of them, older brother and a younger brother. And my dad passed away when I was about 10 years old, I think it was. My mother remarried. She had about 4 more children.
And what did your family do? What did your dad do for a living during the Depression?
For a living room?
Yeah, during the Depression. What was that like?
My dad was I would say a watchman in a packing house.
Okay.
And my mother worked in a packing house too, packing oranges. What she was a widow anyway, so.
How old were you when your father passed away?
I must have been about 10 years old, I would say. 1933, about 10 years old.
Okay. Was it tough for your family during the Depression?
Pardon?
Was it tough for your family during the Depression? During the Depression, was it tough for your family?
During the Depression, right. Yeah.
Was it tough?
Yeah. So we lived during the Depression. In fact, my mother won't accept no help at all. You know, this false pride to have, you know what it is? Because representatives used to come in the house asking us for it. If we needed aid, any kind of aid, you know. But my mother wouldn't accept it, so he just roughed it up, I guess.
So who went into the military first? Was it your older brother?
My older brother, yes.
And which one? What's his name? His name?
Oh, Marcello.
Okay. And was he drafted? Was he drafted into the service?
He was drafted,
yeah.
Yes, he was drafted.
To the Army?
In the Army, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember when he was drafted?
Well, that was 1940, early 43, 1943, early. Must have been in February or whatever.
What about you?
Well, I went in about 3 months after that. I went in April, for 1943.
April. And you were drafted also?
I was also drafted, right.
Into the Army?
Into the Army, right, okay. Correct.
And then your youngest brother?
Well, he was inducted about 6 months later, I would think, about 6 months later.
Okay, and his name?
Philip.
Okay.
With 2 L's.
2 L's, okay. And to the Army also?
Oh, in the Army.
Did you weren't sent to the same basic training, were you? Where did you guys go for basic training?
Pardon?
Where did you go for basic training?
Oh, where the basic training? I took my basic right here, close by Camp Cook, by Lompoc.
Okay. Do you know where your brothers did theirs?
When my older brother took his training in Florida, and my younger brother in Texas, someplace in Texas, I forgot the name of the camp.
Was it Fort Hood or Camp? I think it's Fort.
I'm sorry,
was it Fort Hood? Do you remember? Was it Fort Hood in Texas?
No, I don't even know. I can't remember the name. I don't remember the name of the camp at all.
That's no problem.
It's 60-some years ago, you know, so.
Right. Where were you sent after Camp Cook?
Camp Cook, after Camp Cook, I went to Fort Ord for about 3 months, I believe it was.
And what kind of training did you do there?
Well, mostly survival training and how to hand grenade training, how to throw a hand grenade and the time to take fire to it, things like that, fundamental things on it. So, but mostly combat training and night training.
Do you remember where you went after that?
I went from there. I went to Camp Stoneman. Camp Stoneman, that's right off of San Francisco, someplace. That was for about a month, really. I didn't stay there very long there.
And what did you do there?
The same thing. It's regular training. So.
And where were you sent after that?
From there on, I went to Hawaii, to island of Oahu.
To Pearl Harbor?
Pardon?
Did you stop in Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
Did you stop in Pearl Harbor?
No, Pearl Harbor, we just disembarked in not in Pearl Harbor, close to Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
I was stationed by Pearl Harbor, though.
Was it a Liberty ship that you went on? Was it a Liberty ship or a troop transport? Do you know what kind of ship you went on?
What camp there was?
No, what ship? What kind of ship did you go on?
Oh, what?
Was it like a Liberty
regular
ship?
Troop ship, yeah.
A troop transport, okay.
A troop ship, they call it, I don't even know.
And then where did they send you after Pearl Harbor?
I'm sorry, I'm here.
It's okay. Where did they send you after Pearl Harbor?
Oh, it wasn't Pearl Harbor, it was, we went to Kaneohe Bay.
Oh, okay, Kaneohe, okay.
Kaneohe Bay, right.
And then where did you go from there?
From there, we went over to, I forgot the name of the big establishment in Hawaii now. Let me try and think of it. I can't think of her name right now.
It wasn't Schofield.
It was from Kaneohe, we went to Waimanalo, I think it was. Waimanalo, so it's a beach. I don't know if they call it Camp Waimanalo. It was the name of the town where we were stationed for a while.
And then did they send you over to the Pacific from there?
From there, yes, from there I spent about a year in Hawaii, about a year.
What were you doing there?
Oh, the same thing, did training and hiking and machine gun training and whatever, weapon training, whatever it was, so.
And then where did they send you after that?
From there, we went to Guadalcanal.
Okay. So tell me about Guadalcanal.
Well, actually, but nothing but jungle. The only thing, the beachfront, it's about the little road there, that's all it was, And the back country, nothing but jungle. Nothing but jungle, so nothing exciting about that island.
Were you in combat there? Were you in combat there?
Oh, no. This is way after. See,
right.
Yes, way after. Combat was 1942 there.
Right.
So I'm there in 1940, early 45.
45.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there?
From then on, that's when we got ready for invasion of Okinawa.
So tell me about that.
Okinawa was, the land you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
everything
yeah.
You remember about that.
Well, let's see. I forgot how long we were aboard ship anyway, but they made an announcement we're ready to invade Japanese soil, this and that, to give you an explanation on it. And it's about midnight, and about 5 o'clock in the morning, machine guns started rattling over. And I think that we were raided by airplanes, I guess it was, Of course, we're inside, they wouldn't let us out, So afterwards, we landed in the west side of the island, in the center of the island. And of course, this coral all over, the landing ship, little Higgins boats where they carry the troops, they couldn't get to shore, so you had to walk from here about a block or two, you know, to the water. You know, you walk with your weapon knife, whatever, you know. But boy, you see, we landed right into a Japanese airfield full of airplanes. But what struck me, that none of them ships were riddled with with gunfire, they weren't bombed or anything. So evidently, the Japanese must have been out of fuel because they never moved their airplanes, see. We walked right through the airplanes as we landed. So the good fortune was that the troops had moved south. The Japanese troops had made a stand over in the south. And we went north with the Marine, 6th Marine Division. We were attached to the 6th Marine Division. And they had small little pockets there, 3 or 4 Japanese, whatever, you know, nothing big, you know. So they took half of the island in about a week and a half. I'm talking north end of the island. But see, the Japanese made a standpoint over in the south end from Shuri and Shuri Castle, whatever it was. From then on, they made a standpoint right there. So that lasted for about, I would say, about a month and a half. See, we lost 15,000 men there in Okinawa. So we were very fortunate going north instead of going south like the Army did. See, the Marine Corps went north on it, and it was an easy thing to walk through the cakewalk, what it was, you know. But the troops were all making the standpoint in the south. So anyway, that battle went on for about a month and a half, I would say, you know. It was real hectic, though. So that's about I remember about.
What division were you attached to? What army division?
That was the 10th Army.
The 10th Army?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the first 6th Marine Division, and I think the 7th Division. I forget. So.
Okay. So, what did you know about where your brothers were? Did you know where your brothers were at all during the war?
Well, one was in Europe, and the other one is in the Philippines.
Did you know that at the time, or did you not know until after?
You write to each other, you know.
You'd write to each other?
Right, of course. We correspond then, naturally, yeah.
And what would they say?
Well, they had a little rough there in Germany, but I guess my younger brother got there a little late there, so I don't know if the war was still going on when he got there. I guess it was, but I mean, he never wrote. Actually, you wouldn't discuss it. But what I didn't like, you write to your buddies in Europe and get a letter back deceased. I had about two or three of them, friends of mine. You write to them, and here you get a letter deceased to them. I don't know what's going on in Europe. Normandy especially, where they lost a lot of good men, you know.
Where did Marcello serve? Was he in part of D-Day at all?
Yeah. Pardon?
Was he part of D-Day at all? Was he in Normandy?
No, I don't think he was in Normandy. Actually, he never told me where he was at. I know he was in Europe all the time, though. He spent over 2 years over there.
Do you know if either of them, if Philip and Marcello came across each other at all? Since they were both in Europe, did they meet up in Europe? Did they ever see each other? Do you know?
Did you ever see who now?
Did your brothers ever see each other in Europe?
Oh no. My younger brother he wasn't in Europe.
Oh, okay.
He was in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, okay.
Yeah.
Did your mom talk much about what it was like for her when you guys were overseas?
Yeah, so I don't know. It wasn't discussed anyway. So I don't know how they felt about it, though. All three of us were, though.
Well, you guys went so close together. Did she ever say anything to you?
Well, she just give you a blessing and hope for the best, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's about it.
When did you guys move to Santa Paula?
We moved to Santa Paula in 1955.
So up until that point, you were in Laverne.
No, I was in Oxnard.
Oh, okay.
Once I got discharged, I spent 10 years in Oxnard.
So you were discharged in 46?
No, almost. I was discharged December the 25th, 1945.
Oh, okay. December 25th.
Almost 46, yeah.
So Christmas Day?
And Christmas Day, correct.
Good Christmas present.
What?
Good Christmas present.
Oh, yeah.
So you were discharged and you moved to Oxnard?
Moved to Oxnard, yes.
Okay. What did you do for a living in Oxnard?
Well, what kind of work I did?
Yeah.
Well, I worked for Public Works Administration for about 10 years, I think it was. And then the rest of the time, because I put 35 years in there, the rest of the time I worked for Supply Department.
Okay. But in the Public Works Department, the whole Public Works.
Supply. Well, I was a woodworker.
Okay. And when did you get married?
When did I get married?
Yeah.
It was in 1943.
1943.
Yeah, right.
And what was your wife's name?
Anna.
Anna. 2 N's.
Well, I call her Anna. I think it's N-A. Anna Marie.
Okay. So you moved to Santa Paula in 55 and you've been here ever since?
Ever since, right, correct.
So when you think back on the war, what comes to mind? Did you have a hard time thinking about it in the past, or did you just not really think about it?
I try and never give it a thought. Never give it a thought afterwards. Once I got out, talk to your buddies once in a while. Of course, a lot of them think so much comedy, which I failed to. I was very fortunate. I wasn't in a line like the rest of them, you know. Very fortunate, so.
So you can speak Japanese fluently?
Not fluently, enough to get along. I picked it up pretty good, though.
So how did you learn?
Well, when we first landed, they gave you a little pamphlet, like, you know, to say like surrender, or don't be afraid, and whatever, you know, little. So from then on, I just listened to them and tried to put together. So I started taking notes. I got a whole little book of little notes, you know, like where are you going, doko yukibaska, and stuff like that. And what is your name? And little phrases, little by little, it started falling in, and I could keep a conversation, actually, you know. In fact, the Japanese, it's over in Korea, used to call me Tsuyaku. I didn't even know what it meant. It's interpreter, translator. You know what I mean? I wasn't not that much fluent, though. So I could get along with, put it this way, you know.
How big is your notebook with the notes in it?
How big is this? It's a little notebook, small little book. So I take little phrases, write it down, you know, and later on I come to that and relate to the conversation, like where you going, what is your name, and where do you live, stuff like that, you know. So after a while, it would come easy. I could understand most of it. Of course, a lot of them I couldn't word it, but I could understand it though. So I got along pretty good with that.
Now that it's been close to 65 years since the end of the war, what do you think about it now?
What do I think about the war? I hate to see a war coming right now. See, in Second World War, we lost about 60 million people. I'm not talking about military, all around. So that's what is life? 60 million people. You put it down to a war. Why do we have wars? I hope we never have another one. But this human nature, I guess. So, I don't approve of it. I support the military, but not the war, though.
I agree. Is there anything else you guys want me to ask specifically?
Didn't you practice talking Japanese with kids and stuff? How did you learn so
None
well?
more. Well, I think I've even your friend, little, what's the name of it?
Tina's friend or something?
Little Susie.
Oh, yeah.
I tell Susie, good morning, how are you? She said, you don't want to, they're American, they don't want to speak Japanese.
Her friend knew Japanese. He didn't have anyone else to talk to.
Yeah. Now Mary,
So he would try to talk to her and she didn't want to.
Mary is fluent in Spanish, but she's Japanese.
Oh.
And I speak to her in Japanese, and she answered in Spanish. So here you go again, So that's really great. Yeah,
No, but, I thought I remember you told me that you talked to the kids a lot in Japanese, or in Japan.
I've always phrases I speak in Japanese. Like I told you, I'm not fluent. The best thing I remember about it is after the war. I've been out about 3 or 4 or 5 months, whatever. I walked into a pharmacist, and here the pharmacist talking to the Japanese lady, a little tiny Japanese lady. And he said, ma'am, I showed you everything we have. I don't understand what you want, this and that, So I said, maybe I could help, maybe by chance, So I walked towards her, what happened? What's going on, And she says, she wanted Mimi Soji. When she said Mimi meant eyes, Soji means to clean, to watch out, So I told the guy, I think she's talking about something to watch her eyes out with. The guy said, well, I showed her everything we have. Urine and this and that for her eyes. No, I think she wants to watch her eyes out with. So he reached down there, what it was? An eye cup. And when the lady seen that, she started bowing her head. He got to thank you for the small little deed I did. But she was ready to walk out without buying it because she wanted,
Right.
So little, to me it was worth picking up Japanese. That little small little incident, So it was really something. I never forgot it. She walked out. He walked out of the pharmacist's door. She was still bowing.
That's a good story.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Were you given orders to stay in Japan after the war for the occupational forces? Did you stay in Japan after the war ended for occupation?
I don't understand that one.
When the war ended in Japan, did you stay there for a little while?
Oh yes, of course.
For the occupation?
I stayed there for about three or 4 months.
Okay.
From Okinawa, we went to Korea, Army of Occupation. Let's see, it was August, September, October, November. Yeah, a little over 3 months. I was in Korea. Okay. From then on, I came home, got discharged.
What part of Korea?
Incheon, right off of Seoul.
Okay.
There.
So, where they fought the war a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, they had a war later on, 5 years.
Yeah, and
5 years afterward, they had a war in Korea. And actually, a lot of our troops went back. A lot of my friends went back too. So,
but you didn't have to. That's good.
No, but a lot of them joined the what do you call it?
The reserves.
Yeah, reserves. Well, they get to make some money, whatever. We march once a week, whatever. But then they got called back, reactivated. So they had to go back to Korea. So there was another big war over there.
Right.
So I stayed away from it.